But when you talk about your personal brand, summarily, is you. I am a brand. Good. And I said to someone, everyone ought to be a brand, but not everyone is a brand. Every business ought to be a brand, but not all businesses are brands. I'm Bliss Ojeruse. I'm one of the speakers for this conference, the Shebrand Conference, holding live here in Abakiliki, Ebonyi State. And I'm so excited to be here. This conference promises to be very enriching. It's actually for ladies only, and it's a vision by the convener, Amanda Onyezia, and she's always had this passion for women. And this year's theme is on the theme identity. And here we expect that our ladies will be able to have a better clarity of who they are and a better clarity of themselves. I'll be speaking on the topic, strategically positioning your personal brand with the right relationships. So every person, every woman ought to be a brand, but unfortunately not everyone is a brand. Okay, and it's important for every woman to know who they are and that they are a brand, and how to position themselves as a brand that they are in order to fulfill the mission for this conference, or for Shebrand Nation as an organization, which is the 3G. So it's a total package. So we expect that every woman should have this total package. It should be a 3G woman that will represent their brand wherever they find themselves globally, in the global space, not to play locally, not to remain in the local space, but to aspire to the global space. We have great women that are examples for us all and who we aspire to be like. But every woman has her own identity. There's something unique about every woman. There's something unique about every lady. So I expect that today, ladies here, we get better clarity on who they are and how they can properly position themselves, what kind of relationships they need to connect with in order to position themselves in the position where they ought to be the 3G lady that they should be.
In the person of Miss Bliss Ojeruse, Ma, you're welcome, and good morning. Good morning, welcome, Ma. So, right now, I want us to get ready. Take out your, okay, I can see that you're ready with your writing materials. If you have your notepads, bring it out. If you have your jotter, your pen, bring it out, because it's time to be impacted. It's time to start selling fast. Okay, so while you're getting ready, please, with a rousing ovation, I'd like us to make welcome our first speaker here on our list. Before I call her up stage, I'd like to give you a brief bio of this great personality. First, Miss Bliss Ojeruse is a strategic. Okay, thank you. She is first a co-founder, and you know what that means. She's a co-founder and executive director of Saving Hand Development Initiative, Shebrand, a non-profit organization focused on youth development, youth education, leadership, and value reorientation, community development. She is a development consultant in the areas of strategic planning, research, monitoring and evaluation, report writing, proposal development, project management, training, coordination, and facilitation, with over 12 years experience in the social development non-profit sector. Come on, put your hands together for her. With a rousing ovation, let's make welcome Miss Bliss Ojeruse.
Good morning, everyone. We are not clapping like 3G women. I want to hear the 3G woman clap. Give yourself a round of ovation. Give yourself a round of applause. If you know who you are, if you celebrate yourself, celebrate yourself. I want you to celebrate yourself. You deserve it. You deserve it. Celebrate yourself. It's so good to be here among great women, among the 3G women here. Please do have your seats, please. And today is a very special day for me because I'm in my tribe. Whenever I'm among women, whenever I'm among females, I feel very at home because I'm in my tribe. So it's a very great honor to be here before you, and I want to thank the convener of this wonderful conference in the person of Amanda Onyezia, and I want to thank all the team members that have been working behind the scenes to make this conference a success. I thank you all, and I appreciate you all for what you're doing, and it's a privilege to be here among you also to share in what God is doing in the Shebrand Nation and in this conference. I understand that this is the 4th conference and this is my first time of being part of this conference, and I'm so excited about it. So because of the shortness of time we have, we'll go straight to the point. Sometimes when people get introduced, some people get intimidated, but you don't have to be, because everyone is unique. Everyone has his place. I'll be speaking on the topic, strategically positioning your personal brand with the right relationships. And when we were discussing this topic, Mandy asked me, does this have to do with identity? And I told her yes. When you talk about your personal brand, it has everything to do with your identity. So I may be using a little bit of jargon, but never mind. We'll break it down. We're here to interact. We don't have much time, but it's basically, we're just here to interact. So basically, when we talk about strategy or strategically positioning your personal brand, I like to just do a little keyword definition just for us to be on the same page. And when you talk about strategically, it has to do with something that is in relation to strategy, right? My colleagues call me strategy, and so I branded myself the strategist. So when we talk about strategically positioning yourself, these two words complement themselves. If you're into business, and probably you are into business, you would understand the meaning of the place of positioning. So when you talk about positioning, you mean, placing your product, okay, in a place that sets that product in a competitive advantage, like makes it unique among other competitors, right? So, and then your strategy has to do with your approach. I just use a simple term. I may not even go into so much jargon, but the most important is for us to be on the same page. Now, it has to do with your approach. How do you approach a particular thing? How do you go about a particular thing that makes that thing unique, that makes that thing stand out? The business world, they will talk about your unique selling point or your competitive advantage. So, we're talking about a product in this point, but in that product we're talking about in this case is you. You are that product. So because you are a brand. Now, so you need to find a way of positioning yourself. And one key way, when we talk about personal branding, let me talk a little bit about brand first. Before we talk about personal branding. Now, a brand is your unique identity, right? What differentiates, how people perceive you. Okay? How others perceive you to be. what makes you different, that makes the way others see you, the way people perceive you. They say, oh, this person is a kind person. This person is a great teacher. This person is a wonderful organizer. When it comes to organizing events, she's so good at it. So people know you, people perceive you, your people's perception about you. So, but when you talk about personal, a brand has, there are 3 types of brand. We have the personal brand, we have the business brand, and the corporate brand. Corporate brand has to do with companies, right? A company brand. When you talk about branding, branding does not really necessarily have to do with the graphics, the logos, and all that, the physical things you see. A brand is more an intangible phenomenon. Okay, so when you talk about, we have 3 types of brand. We have the personal brand, the corporate brand, the business brand. For the business brand, some also divided into 2, the service brand and the product brand. Of course, we know that when we talk about business, we have the goods and services, right? In our layman, our secondary school business administration course. So we want to talk about the goods, that's the products, okay? And then the services. But when you talk about the personal brand, your personal brand, summarily, is you. I had this confusion for a long time. I have this brand I call Bliss Inspirational Text. It's my writing brand where I write inspirational writings and all that. And I used to say, oh, BITS. The acronym is BITS. B-I-T, capital letter, then small letter S. So I used to say, oh, BITS is my personal brand. Until I came in contact with my coach, Omobabiri Adiola Shideko. She calls herself, or she is, the queen of branding. You know, I came in contact with her and I got this clarity about what personal brand is. You see, when a lot of us, when we search for our names on social media, we have different names. On Facebook, we have another name. On Instagram, another name. On LinkedIn, another name. And different names for different media. You are not building your brand that way. You know, when we talk about branding, there are components of branding, okay? And, I mean, there are elements of branding. When you're building your brand, to position your brand strategically, there are things you need to do. And one of such things is your brand identity. Your brand identity. So you need to define your brand identity. Now we are all on the same page, I guess. I want to talk about personal brand, right? Who is the personal brand we're talking about here? Say, I am a personal brand. I am a brand. Good. And I said to someone, I said, you know, everyone ought to be a brand, but not everyone is a brand. Every business ought to be a brand, but not all businesses are brands. When we hear Okochukwu and Sons Limited, you know, and all they do has to do with just within them, within the family, and all that. The reason why they are just in that business is just to make money that can sustain the family and keep them going. That's not a brand. I know a lot of us here have one thing or the other that we're engaged with. Like I heard one of us here talking about her expectation, and she said she wants to build a career, right? Who's the person? Yes, what's the name? Abigail. Yeah, so she wants to be a career woman. Okay? Some people are okay with, okay, I want to just own a business. Okay? But whatever category you find yourself, you need to build a brand of yourself. So it's not just enough to know that I am a brand. It is important to build that brand. It is important to position that brand in a way that will help you to be globally relevant, right? A 3G woman, and a guaranteed success, and what again? a God vessel. So you need to position yourself in a way that will help you to not just play local, but go global. So it's not enough for you to have that business and you have a few persons you're reaching out to through your business, or a few persons that are aware of your business. Other elements of a brand is the okay. When I'm talking about brand, I'll focus more on the brand identity, right? That's your identity, because we're talking about identity here. So I want to just say some of the components of a brand identity is your brand name, like I said, then your brand message or your brand voice, okay? Then your tagline and your story, your brand tagline, then your brand logo. So your brand logo is just a component of your brand identity, okay? So, but for you as a person, what's your brand logo? It's still you. That's you, okay? You are your physical person, your physical appearance, your physical activities. That's your brand logo, okay? Now you need to have a message. So we'll go over that when we talk about your purpose, okay? So you need to understand this thing. Then you need to have your brand strategy. That's a more deeper level, okay? That's when you begin to define your mission, your vision, your core values, then your brand positioning. How do you want to position? So I told you that in simple terms, your strategy has to be your approach, the how, okay? So you understood your message. What's the message you actually want to deliver? That is what will determine the content you give out, okay? So, well, I'm a makeup artist. Why am I a makeup artist? Why am I a makeup artist? Am I just there just to beautify people? After beautifying people, what? So what? So what? After making people look beautiful, like just the way my face was touched today by Queen. Is Queen here? Yeah, so Queen branded my face today. So thank you, Queen. Yeah, so is it just about just making people look beautiful? What is the purpose? We'll get there now. So, but we need to understand who we are. Who we are. What is your name? Jesus Christ understood this. That's why when he asked his disciples, who do people say I am? And who do you say I am? So, the next aspect of a brand is brand communication. Now you have your message. How do you communicate? How do you pass that message across to people? Then the last is brand equity. Okay, that's where you have to do your marketing strategy, your brand diversification, your strategic brand extension plan, social media management, brand management, and all that to ensure that your brand maintains the originality of that brand. Okay, so now let us go to talk a little about your personal branding, because that's the core. Strategically positioning your personal brand with the right relationships. So there are about 4 components of your personal brand. Number 1 is your personality. Number 2 is reputation. Number 3 is your character. And then number 4, your self-image. Okay, so your personality is like the crowning of your personal brand. You need to really take time to understand your personality. That is actually what gives you that understanding of your identity. We'll talk a little bit about, we'll focus more on your personality and then character. Now, why your personality is what you think about yourself, what you think about yourself, or let's say your personality is the component, like the entirety of who you are. Your personality is the entirety of who you are. We'll go into that. That's where your temperament comes in, and there are other aspects of them. There are 4 types of your personality. Now, one of it is your there's an acronym for that, and it's called DISC. DISC. You have dominant, intentional, steady, and conscientious. So for some people, they are dominant. They want to dominate anywhere they are. These kind of people will make good leaders if well managed. If well managed, they will make good leaders. So, but they are often not very good followers when they find themselves in places where they have to, follow the leadership issues. But everything, no matter the personality you have, the thing is that is your personality that makes you unique. So you need to understand your personality. Every personality has their strengths and weaknesses. Okay? So you need to understand your strengths of that personality. I want to identify the personality and understand the strength of it. And then the weakness of it. Do a SWOT, right? When we talk about SWOT, in strategy, you cannot do without SWOT. Okay? So you need to understand your strengths, your weaknesses. O is for opportunities. T is for threats. Okay? For those of you that are into business. So for yourself, the thing is that we do some of these things for our business brand, our corporate brand, but we don't do it for ourselves. But the thing is that your business brand will be as good as how much you have invested in yourself. So you need to understand that. Then we have the next one, that's the one that's mostly common, the SP, the CSPM, which is the choleric, sanguine, phlegmatic, and the melancholy, right? So if I ask some of us what's your temperament, some of us already know about that. And most times you don't have one of these types. So these different types are actually categorized based on different school of thought, okay? Based on different school of thought. So now you have sanguine and choleric, melancholy, and phlegmatic. So you need to understand which mix. You need to understand the strengths of each of these types of personality and the weaknesses. Then you need to now take the strengths and begin to work on. You take your weaknesses and begin to work on your weaknesses. This person, Tim LaHaye, wrote a book, The Spirit-Controlled Temperament. A point will come when you might not be able to place that this is actually my temperament, because there's some things you have worked on yourself, you have worked on your weaknesses. There's no such thing as that's the way I am. Just leave me. I'm like that. Nobody should talk to me. This is the way I am. This is the way I'm. No. For every personality type you have, you can actually work on it to be better. So the next one is child, parent, and adult, CPA. Okay, so you can put it any which way, PAC, how, but child, parent, and adult. So that personality type is the type that, for the child, it relates. There's this thing that's about you that relates to your childhood, right? Your childhood experience or your childhood attitude. Probably you are this type that was very, meticulous. While you are growing up, you kind of take that trait and you continue with that trait based on your childhood experience. Then for the parents, it's this kind of personality that, relates to your parents' experience. For instance, you have a parent that maybe you're growing up, you often find your mother, your parent shouting at you, scolding you and screaming at you. And then you grow up and you find yourself doing the same thing. It's a trait you actually got through your experience of your parents, relating with your parents. So if we take an assessment of ourselves, we will be able to point one or two of those traits that we have picked from our parents. It might be positive, it might be negative. Then the adult has to do with responsibility, right? Taking responsibility. This is like one of the best personality type in this category. Like I said, the categories are based on school of thought, right? Different school of thought. So it's one that takes responsibility, one that is responsible, one that does things maturely, So when you come, you have attained that adult personality when you have been able to undergo some kind of personality development. That is where personal development is very important. Personal development is very different from personality development. So for you to be able to get your real identity in line with the kind of identity you want to have. Now we'll talk about the identity of Christ, like from the speech of the welcome address of the convener. We'll talk about the identity of Christ. For you to actually wear on this identity of Christ, for your own personality to be in alignment with the identity of Christ, you need personality development. You need to work on it. Don't just sit and say, this is how I am. Now, okay, I mentioned, when I was talking about personal branding, I mentioned 4 components, right? Personality is just one of it. Reputation, that's how people perceive you, how people see you. And one thing is that on the social media, there are a lot of issues around reputation, right? This is how I want people to see me, and this is how I portray myself in the public space. But do you know that your reputation can actually be different from your personality, and it can actually be different from your character? Your character is the next component when you talk about personal branding, right? So your character is like the core that you should focus on. It is through the personality development that you develop the right character. You can have the wrong character, and you can have the right character. So you need to focus on your character. Let your character be in tandem with your reputation and your personality. The next is self-image, what you tell yourself. I like this one. What are your affirmations about yourself? What do you say to yourself? Your background, your experience, these are things you actually can use to build your personal branding. Your passion, your experience, your expertise. I hope you know that expertise is different from experience. Expertise is what you have gained based on your developing an area of your life. It could be your passion. You have developed your passion. You've developed your experiences and all that. So something that you have been doing over time, and you have become like a thought leader in that area. So you need to focus on building your character. Let your character be in tandem with your personality, your self-image, what you see, what you say about yourself, what you see yourself to be, and then your personality, your makeup. So all these are components of your personal brand, and they are the essence of your personal brand, and they're the essence of your identity. So if you have an understanding of these things, then you are ready to take off in this conference. You're ready to take off in life. Your personal brand is very important. Now, what are the things you can do? Now, when we talk about your personal brand, one thing that can influence how much you develop your personal brand is the kind of relationships you have in your life. Relationships are very good. Relationships are basically your association, the people you're connected to, the people that you relate with. So, but your relationship is very important to your personal brand. Now, by God's grace, when we started our organization, we had a number of volunteers working with us. And even after I left, I actually started in a community called Ebonyi in Ebonyi State. That's where I served. That was after my service. I didn't actually, when I started, I didn't actually know that it was going to be a lasting vision, like an organization. Just started out of passion and out of the word, God's instruction. And so we started, and before you knew it, people started keying into it. What are the things I did? I had to share my vision. So when we talk about building your personal brand and getting the right relationships, you need to understand three things. You need to understand your who, your why, and your what. Okay? So your who has to do with who you are. What's your identity? We've spent so much time talking about that. So your who has to do with your identity. And then your why is your purpose. Your who, that's your personality, right? Your who, your what, why is your purpose. Your what is you, your brand, as a brand. Then you need to also understand your how to go about it. So these things, you need to understand it. So you are a personal brand, but how do you position yourself? What is your purpose? What are you called to do? Like I was giving an illustration. You have a brand. You have a business brand, for instance. Are you just doing it because you want to make money? What has God said to you? When I was told about this conference, I just thought, okay, I'll just come and talk like I'm talking to, professionals and all that. But I understood that we have different. It's a mixed audience, and I understood the purpose of the conference of the conference, right? And it's not just about just knowing things, using jargons, but understanding who God actually wants you to be. My life is a life story of me and God. So you cannot really, if you want to get the best out of your purpose, your why, you need to go back to the creator, the originator of you. You know that all these wonderful things that we talk about, your personality, your temperament, and all that. Do you know that God made it together with you? God made you like that. And he made you because you are unique. When you talk about unique, that word, you, it's actually you. You cannot be like any other person. You are different. You are distinct. And the reason why people have issues with people, a lot of fights, is because they have not come to embrace who they are. They've not come to understand who they are, and they've not come to embrace it. And the thing is that you should not just be conscious about understanding you yourself. You need to try to understand others. For you to have the good relationship with people, you need to also try to understand others. That's why you gain expertise and you have a good interpersonal relationship. You don't just do things just because of yourself alone. Okay? So reputation is not bad at all. But what we are saying is that what people perceive about you should be the same thing as you. Some people, they'll come to the social media, they are totally different from who they actually are. When you meet them off social media, they're totally different. Okay? So what is the kind of picture you want people to see of you? You need to understand your why. Why am I on earth? Why am I into this business? Why? Because if you can define your why, then you'll be able to define your how you want to go about whatever you want to do. Esther in the Bible understood this. When she was given the opportunity to become the queen of that great nation, Babylon, she understood why she was there. Every great person in the Bible understood the why. Ruth understood the why. Deborah understood the why, the purpose. Is there not a cause? There should be a cause, a reason why you are doing what you are doing. This is me now. This is me. Who am I? You asked me who am I. I said, you heard my profile. They read the beautiful profile. That is how I've positioned myself. Now if I say I'm a public speaker, I put myself, I'm a public speaker, I'm a trainer. And then people see that and say, oh, she's a public speaker. Then I begin to do things that prove to people that I'm a public speaker. I say I'm a strategist. Say, oh, she's a strategist, I'm a consultant. Oh, she's a consultant. So what are the things I should do to make people to actually know that I'm not just saying it, but this is who I am? I begin to put in stories of my work, what I have done. So storytelling is also an integral part of your personal brand. You need to know how to pass that message. This is who I am. How do people know? Because the thing is that if people do not know, that's what called brand awareness. If people are not aware of your brand, of who you are, they will not know how to place. They will not know what kind of opportunities to bring your way. So you want to have opportunities. You want to be on the global space. You want to interact with great people, with great minds. Then you need to be able to tell your own story. Tell your own story. So like I said, when I got the vision and all that, I needed a team to work with. So what did I do? I had to develop a little proposal to tell them why I'm in that community, why I'm doing what I'm doing. So when people see their why in your why, they want to partner with you. And that is why I believe that all these wonderful team members working behind the scene for Shebrand, that's why I see that they're part of Shebrand, right? You can see your why in Shebrand Conference, in Shebrand Nation as an organization, right? So you like to talk to women, you like to interact with women, and you have a platform where you can actually do that. So you're happy, you're excited about it. You want to contribute your own quota. So you need to understand that. So let's go to how to build your relationships. How do you position yourself with the right relation? There are 3 categories of relationship: self, others, and then God. On top about others, you have your family, your friends, your professional relationships, your romantic relationship. So every of them are part of your relationship. But how do you position yourself? Now, you need to take mentorship and coaching very seriously. You need to identify a mentor. Identify a mentor and a coach, or a coach. Okay, you know, coach and mentor, they are different levels of relationship, right? A mentor is a more intimate relationship, a deeper relationship. So you need to identify someone that has what you aspire to be. Identify them. It might be one person, it might be 2 persons, it might be a number of persons. Identify them and follow them. Jesus Christ, when he was meeting his disciples, he said what? Follow me and I will what? Make you. This is who you are. But for you to actually move from who you are, your self-image, what you perceive yourself to be, to where who you actually are in reality, you need to follow the right people. Get connected to the right people. It's okay to have relationships, but it's more efficient to have the right relationships. So mentorship and coaching. So how do you follow them? Connect with them. If they're on social media, connect with them on social media. Follow them, their content, every content, with video content, with writing content. Follow them. Get their books if they have books. Get their resources. Following them doesn't mean that you have to go to their inbox and start disturbing them. It's gradual. You need to be strategic about it. At a time, as you keep doing this, you see that spirit will begin to connect with spirit. They will even notice you, even before you even approach them. Before you approach them one-on-one, they will notice you. And the moment you just say, Jack, they're ready to embrace you. So I've had that experience. Time will not permit me to share. So another thing is volunteering. Volunteering and internship. Let me put it two together. Some volunteering positions are paid, some are not paid. Same with internship too. Some are paid, some are not paid. So you need to identify with them. Whatever thing people are doing, whatever initiative that is going on that is in line with what you want to be or what you perceive yourself to be, what you aspire to be, get in touch with them. Volunteer your service. It can be for free. I've been a volunteer for many years. I've volunteered, and that's what actually made me. So it's something that is very key. Right now, I intend for a brand and consultancy firm, Crystal Edge Professional Services. So all this is I'm mentioning about brand identity and all that. We do that for businesses, we do that for companies and all that. So it's something we train company employees and all that. So these are things that you can gain. You can build yourself, relate with people. Then your relationship with God, as I'm rounding up, your relationship with God is very key. Fellowship with him. He's the author and the finisher of your brand. He's the one that can actually position you before great men. He said you will stand before kings and not before mean men. You get the kind of strategies you cannot get by consulting even a strategist. You get it directly from God. I always find myself in positions where I give strategies, I give ideas to people. It's not every time I consult for a paid position. Okay? So it is something that I enjoy doing when I see people problems being solved. When I see people, I can give this idea and people are elated about it. It's something that gives me joy. Talking with people, I would have just been on my way off after this conference, but I said, no, I have come. I came prepared to stay throughout the conference because I love to interact with people. I love to relate with people. So God, your fellowship with God is very important. The whole issue about my life is about God. From what I said, I'm a development consultant, right? With over 12 years experience. That 12 years experience has to do with God. A vision that God gave to me. A vision. And he told me that this vision is beyond this place. Meaning what? It's a global vision, right? So you're a global brand. You don't need to play local. Interact with people that God has engraced. God has engraced to go a little step over you or above you. Interact with them. Relate with them. But you have to set your boundaries. You need to know, for you to have the right relation, you need to be right yourself. That's why I spend time on the area of your identity, on the area of personality development. So your romantic relationship, because of time, I may not be able to go into it. But it still all boils down to God. See, nobody should just to come and tell you that because you're a woman, this is how you are. You need to depend on me. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to build yourself. That's why this personal brand is very important. Because who you are, you attract who you are. So if you see yourself as a global brand and you're related with somebody that feels intimidated when anything positive, when it feels that you're making a little progress, it feels intimidated with you, that's not your kind. That's not your kind. So we have a lot of examples of women who are doing well and also representing God in their career. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala is one of them. She's a mother, she's a wife, yet she's a global figure. So you can be all together. You can love God, you can be global, you can be globally relevant, you can be everything. So you need to understand who God has called you to be. So in one moment, I don't know what you have gained from this session, but I want you to just think to yourself and say, who really am I? You see, the process of finding your place is not a one-day thing. Although you can get an insight right now in this conference that will start the process and ignite you. So if you're someone that is very skilled, you have many competencies like me, you can be very confused. Where actually you need to focus on one thing. This year I took a course on monetizing your skill or whatever, your monetization. So I had to ask myself, when we were given a quiz, and after that time, so many things were just on my mind, and I said, Lord, what do you actually want me to be? What is the thing you want me to focus on and begin to monetize? Lord, please speak to me. Open my eyes. Let me see. Open my ears. Let me hear. And lo and behold, when I spoke with my coach and I said, defending myself, they gave me an idea. And when I said defending myself, she said, what? This is a brilliant one. Please. I'm not seeing you in this life. You need focus on this. So Jesus Christ told Mary, say, one thing is what? Needful. You have so many things, but one thing is needful. You need to find that one thing and focus on it. Give it all the energy it deserves. Connect with the people that you need to connect with. That can help. Attend conferences, read books. Watch the kind of materials, videos, and that will help you to achieve that. It's not enough to just sit and say, I'm watching home video from, what is that adding? What is it adding to you? What you're watching, what is it adding to you? Where God wants you to be, your purpose, your brand. How is it adding to it? Develop the right kind of relationships that can help you achieve it. I pray that God will help us, that in this conference, we'll find our true identity, we'll position ourselves in ways that can make us the 3G woman that God wants us to be. God bless you.